Prof JC, we're on our second video for this week, and we're looking at this idea of empathy and what empathy has to do with this whole subject that this class is about when it comes to diversity and inclusion. I want to read to you from page 50 here. Now make sure that you're watching the whole video, because in this video, the videos are going to be spread out throughout. Okay, so you're not going to be able to just go to the end and kind of find out the questions, go back. You're going to have to watch the whole thing to kind of get the questions, okay? In the aware stage, this is page 50, Jennifer Brown here. In the aware stage, you intentionally set out to learn more about the concept of identity. Okay, so now we've moved from unaware to aware. Now, again, this is a lot. This is an 8-week class. In real life, this could take months. It could take weeks. It could take months. It could take years for some people. Okay, so we're moving quickly here because we have 8 weeks to get all this done. But in real life, this would take a long time to get through. Okay, so let's say you've moved from the unaware stage. Now you're aware. Okay, but that unaware stage, again, might take a long time for some of us, and I'd recommend sitting there a little bit if you need to. Okay, you know, just because the class is over in just a few weeks doesn't mean that this journey of diversity, this journey of becoming an inclusive leader, doesn't mean that that's over. Okay, so we need to be careful with this. In the aware stage, you intentionally set out to learn more about the concept of identity. You learn about the invisible benefits and privileges that certain identities have been afforded, and understand better just how unequal the playing field really is. You deepen your understanding of this picture, and then you locate yourself in it. You commit yourself to progress, to personally evolve. And it really starts with that first. Am I going to personally evolve before I take other people on this journey? And you begin to explore what a more proactive role supporting DEI might look like. Again, the goal is not to become a DEI advocate. That would be wonderful if everyone did, to become an inclusive advocate in your workplace. But I also know that there are reasons why people choose not to. They've got good salaries, they have a good life, and there's something about this subject that is such a lightning rod for people. Okay, and so I understand that. But if we can get to the aware stage at the bare minimum, right, and then hopefully move into the active phase, I think we've done the work that we need to do. And some of you will pick it up and you will become DEI advocates in your workplace, in your institution, and I applaud you for it. And we need you, to be standing on the front lines of this. Okay. She goes on to say, in this stage, you learn how your own identities shape your lens of the world and influence your ideas, your values and beliefs, including the judgments and assumptions you form about other people. I want to stop and ask you your first question today. Okay. I want to ask you, how has your identity shaped your lens of the world? Okay. And influenced, again, your ideas, your values, your beliefs, all the things that you bring to the world, like, that you bring, when you walk into a room, your full self. Okay. How has your identity, who you are, okay, and how you see yourself, how you've experienced the world, how has that shaped your lens of the world, how you see the world? Okay. That's the first question that I want you to dive in. In this stage, Jennifer talks about, you are confronted with some harsh truths about the many ways people are advantaged and disadvantaged by their identities. And you learn that people are having radically different experiences in society and workplace. Second question. Have you or someone you've known experienced, a different kind of experience in the workplace based on their diversity, whatever that diversity might be? Okay. Have you known someone? And then I just want you to write just a few sentences about that. Talk about that. Okay. If it's been you, then absolutely talk about that. But you might still be a little bit unaware. So I want you to think about someone in your workplace, whether it's you or someone else. How have you experienced that disadvantage, right? Have you? How have you experienced it? What was that like to experience that? Okay, so that's the second question. Jennifer goes on page 51, and she says, I believe in our capacity to hold many truths and perspectives at the same time, and that learning to do so will ignite our empathy and connect us more deeply to others' experiences. Okay. Every day, people are managing challenges that deeply impact their lives, that deeply affect their lives. Simply being interested and aware of what other people are going through is an important step toward becoming a more inclusive leader, because it demonstrates that you care about other people. That's why it's important as a leader to ask your people how they're doing, to find out what their journey is, to go on a lunch with them every night, or take everyone out to lunch and sit with different people each time, and be able to ask questions of them. Tell me about your story. Tell me kind of where you came from, to the extent you feel comfortable. Always lead with that. To the extent you feel comfortable, share with me your story. I want to know more about you. I want to know more about what motivates you. Okay. Goes on to say this: empathy is fundamentally the ability to understand the feelings and experiences of other people, to put yourself in someone else's position and try to imagine that they might be feeling in certain situations. Okay. There's probably someone out there that you can talk to and you could have a conversation. I shared it in the last video about my own experience about that, sitting down with someone and having a conversation, learning more about them. And because I learned more about them and their story and who they are, it brought so much more compassion. It changed my world, my entire worldview. Page 56, the goal of inclusion is to foster cultures that encourage individuals to bring their full selves to work. This isn't just an end goal in and of itself, but it has everything to do with unleashing potential, engagement, and output. We are able to contribute more of our best creativity when we feel a strong foundation of belonging, of being seen, heard, and valued. Even if you don't agree with DEI, even if you don't agree with diversity, even if you don't agree with inclusivity, or even talking about this, and this is just kind of a little mosquito in your ear, okay, fine, I get it. That's okay. Okay, but even if you're there, okay, I want you to know this, that if you want to be a leader in an organization, you want that that organization to be profitable. You want it to be effective. You want it to be impactful. Okay, I don't care if you're a for-profit or a non-profit. That's what you want. You want those three things to happen: profit, okay, and even a nonprofit needs to bring in money. You want it to be effective. Okay, whatever it is you're doing. If you have a service you're offering to the world, you want it to be effective. If you have a product you're offering to the world, you want it to be effective, which means you need to have effective people. Okay, you also want it to be impactful. Okay, now in order to do that, that means you have to have people who are motivated that way. How do you do that? You've got to care for your people. And this new generation coming up, especially with the younger people coming in, they care about this. So even if you don't care about DEI, you probably care about your profit. You probably care about the nonprofit numbers. You probably care about how many people you're reaching. That's why this has to be important to you. Okay, the goal is to foster inclusion. Excuse me, the goal of inclusion is to foster cultures that encourage individuals to bring their full selves to work. It's very important. Dr. Warren Bennis talks about in his book On Becoming a Leader that the leader's job, the first thing is not to seek leadership, but to seek to live a fully expressed life. But then from a leadership mind, which means that you're bringing your full self to the world. You're not just trying to lead and trying to be a manager. You're just bringing your full self to the world. Then that in turn, as a leader, you've got to turn around and help other people bring their full selves to work. How do you do that? You have to embrace this idea of diversity. So your final question today that I want to ask you. Okay. Final question. The goal of inclusion is to foster cultures that encourage individuals to bring their full selves to work. What is one area that you need to work on in order to help make a more inclusive culture where you are? Now, again, please don't get defensive with me. Oh, JC, I got this. I know how to do this. We hired a trainer to come in, and that trainer, we paid him good money. And so we're that. No. That's great. It's a great first step. But is there something else that you could do? And I guarantee there is. There's something more that you could do in order to become a more inclusive culture. Okay. Quick reminders here at the very end of the chapter. Inclusive leaders embody a sense of curiosity and a willingness to dive in and understand some hard truths about the world that we live in. Again, if we come in with this mindset, I'm always right, then we're going to have some issues there. Okay. The fundamental question of the aware stage is, what do I not yet see or understand? You know what? I want to add one more question onto this. I want to ask one more question onto this. Okay. One more question. I just want you to answer that. What do I not see yet or understand? What do I not yet see or understand? I meant to have that question in there. My apologies. I want you to answer that in just 1 to 2 sentences. So something that you're not seeing yet, something that you don't understand yet, just answer that one. At this stage, you should start thinking seriously about the support you want to give other people. And here's the deal. We should be returning to this stage often, the unaware and the aware, the unaware, the unaware. We should be returning here often because we're continuing to grow and cycle through. And in this stage, what's most important is to keep learning and to keep trying. It really starts, again, the last video, the mindset of humility, this video, a mindset of empathy, and not just the mindset, the actions of humility, the actions of empathy. All of this is incredibly important. I look forward to reading your responses. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. And I'll see you in our next episodes next week. Thanks so much. And take care, everybody. And thanks for being on this journey. There's a lot we have to learn together, but we're going to learn it as a team. I promise you that. And I'm so appreciative that you're on this leadership journey, this diversity journey with me. Take care.